In this video, we're going to be talking about principal residences, specifically the gain reduction formula. But before we get to that, let's look at some key provisions. We're going to be looking inside of ITA 54 for the definition of principal residence. If you go there, you'll see it's pretty involved and there are a number of paragraphs. We focus on paragraph A in our intro course, which essentially says that a principal residence must be ordinarily inhabited. We also look at paragraph E. Paragraph E essentially says that up to a half hectare of land is included in the definition of principal residence. This means if there is more land than half a hectare, any capital gain on that excess amount would have to be included in income, unless the taxpayer establishes that that excess land was necessary for the use and enjoyment of the property. Finally, we look at ITA section 40, subsection 2, paragraph B. This provision contains the formula for reducing the gain on a principal residence. The formula is A minus A times B divided by C, where A is equal to the capital gain, B is 1 plus the years designated as the principal residence for the property in question, and C is the number of years the property is owned. If you look in the Income Tax Act, you'll also see a minus D, but that is outside of the scope of ours and pretty much any intro tax course. We're going to apply this formula and this provision on a case. So let's take a look at a mini case. Miss Annalisa Filson has been married to Spiral Filson for 10 years. Aww. While Annalisa is 32, her husband is 75 and has been in poor health for a number of years. Let's not judge this thing on the face of it. I'm sure it was true love. Age is just a number, right? Let's go back in time to learn more about the story between these two lovebirds. They live in a home in Ottawa, which Spiral purchased as a wedding gift for Annalisa in 20X8 for $628,000. Annalisa is the sole owner of this property. 2 years later, on a 20Y0 business trip to Calgary, Annalisa met Arnold Swartz, a fitness trainer at the hotel where she stayed. The attraction was immediate and mutual, and Annalisa has traveled regularly to Calgary to spend time with Arnold since then. In 20Y1, Annalisa purchased a condo in downtown Calgary for $325,000 and gave Arnold a key. Well, hey, maybe this is true love, right? In every year since its purchase, she has spent considerable time with Arnold in this property. The year 20Y9 turned out to be Annus Horribilis for Annalisa. And I know you're looking at that and you're thinking, is that a spell cast by Hermione from Harry Potter? And no, it's not. It's Latin for horrible year. Who knew? Let's keep it going. To begin with, her husband obtained well-documented proof of her infidelity after hiring a private investigator. As a result, he moved out of the Ottawa home and removed her from his will, where she had been the sole beneficiary of his considerable estate. Aww. To make matters worse, on her last visit to Calgary, Arnold informed her that at 32 she was now too mature for his tastes, and he made other living arrangements. Ooh, Annalisa was in her feelings. These events have left Annalisa determined to change her lifestyle. She decided to sell both properties and move into a religious community that requires a vow of celibacy from all its residents. Well, that escalated quickly. As Annalisa has spent time in each property during every year of ownership, either one can be designated as her principal residence for any given year of ownership. Both properties are sold quickly in 20Y9, with the Ottawa home going for $724,000 and the Calgary condo selling for $415,000. The real estate fees on each sale are 4% of the sale price. After receiving the proceeds, Annalisa decides to go on one last trip to Cancun before starting her new life. And after all of that, we are finally ready to discuss the required. Describe how the residences should be designated in order to accomplish Annalisa's goal, which is essentially to minimize taxes. In addition, calculate the total amount of the gain that would arise under the designation that you have recommended. So first, let's look at a timeline. If we consider the year of purchase and the year of sale for the Ottawa residence, the Ottawa home has been owned for a total of 12 years. Again, if we consider the year of purchase and the year of sale for the Calgary condo, we'll see that the Calgary condo has been owned for 9 years. You can see from this timeline that there is a period of 9 years where the ownership of these properties overlap. And this is where the fundamental question in this case comes from, right? The taxpayer is trying to decide which property should be designated as the principal residence. So to calculate this and figure this out, we've got to do something. Step 1, calculate the gain per year. So if we look at the Calgary condo and the Ottawa home, we'll start off with the proceeds of disposition, which was given to us in the case for each property. From that, we subtract the adjusted cost base. $628,000 for the Ottawa home, $325,000 for the Calgary condo. Now, a lot of times in our course, we just take the POD and we subtract the ACB. But don't forget that a capital gain also needs to consider any selling costs. And in this question, we did have real estate commissions. It was 4% of the selling price. So for the Ottawa home, it would equal $28,960. For the Calgary condo, it would equal $16,600. And so now we have a capital gain for each property, $67,040 for the Ottawa home, $73,400 for the Calgary condo. And now we can calculate the gain per year. If we take the Ottawa home's gain of $67,040 divided by 12 years of ownership, which we confirmed on a timeline in the previous slide, we have $5,587. If we look at the Calgary condo, its gain per year is $8,156. As the annual gain is significantly larger on the Calgary condo, and its ownership period is shorter than that of the Ottawa home, it's the gain on the Calgary condo that we should look to eliminate. And we can use the 1 plus in the formula from ITA 40 subsection 2 paragraph B to our advantage. Let's take a look at how we would apply the formula. We start off with our total capital gain for each property. Then we apply the portion of the formula, which essentially is the exemption. For the Ottawa home, we take the capital gain, times it by 1 plus the number of years it will be designated as the principal residence, divide it by the number of years of ownership, we get $27,933. For the Calgary condo, we take the capital gain of $73,040 and multiply it by 1 plus 8, and we divide it by 9. And that's where we have used the 1 plus really to our advantage. Over the 12-year period, we know that we own the Calgary condo for 9 years. But because there's a 1 plus in the formula, we only have to designate it as the principal residence for 8 years. 8 plus 1 is 9, divided by 9, you can see that the Calgary condo has the gain entirely eliminated, whereas the Ottawa home has got some capital gain remaining. So we'll multiply that by the inclusion rate, and we get a taxable capital gain on the Ottawa home of $19,554, whereas on the Calgary condo, there is no taxable capital gain. One more time, just taking a look at everything we have on the screen to make sure we understand how we applied the formula A minus A times B divided by C. A would be the capital gain of each property, and you should be able to see an A on the screen now. From that, we subtract A again, which is the capital gain on the property, times B, which is 1 plus the number of years it's designated as the principal residence. And that is divided by C, which is the number of years of ownership. So it is this portion here, along with this over here, that is typically examined in our course. But if you have two properties to deal with, you need to decide how to allocate that exemption over the two properties to minimize the overall taxable capital gain. And a great way of doing that is by beginning to calculate the gain per year. So that's all from me. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.